Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, knowing it's your last day on Earth. No more tomorrows. No more second chances. No more time to delay the things you've always wanted to do. What would you do differently? Who would you call? What would you say? Would you scroll through your phone, chasing notifications? Or would you step outside, breathe deeply, and savor the fleeting beauty of the world around you? This question isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. It's a question the ancient Stoics asked themselves every day, a practice they called Memento Mori. Remember that you must die. In the year 2025, we live in a world of incredible possibilities. Medicine has extended our lifespans. Technology connects us across continents, and information flows faster than ever before. But with these advancements comes a paradox. While we're living longer, many of us feel less alive. We're drowning in distractions, endless notifications, social media feeds, and the pressure to keep up with a world that never slows down. Studies show that in 2025, despite longer life expectancies, rates of anxiety, burnout, and feelings of emptiness are at an all-time high. We're surrounded by abundance, yet we're starving for meaning. Why? Because we've forgotten something the Stoics knew well. Life is short, and every moment counts. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, didn't see death as something to fear. They saw it as a teacher, a reminder to live with purpose. Memento Mori wasn't a grim obsession with the end, it was a call to action. By remembering that life is finite, they learned to focus on what truly matters: virtue, relationships, and the legacy they leave behind. In a world that pulls us in 1,000 directions, their wisdom feels more relevant than ever. Today, we're going to explore how this simple but profound practice can transform the way you live, helping you find clarity and purpose in the chaos of 2025. Let's start with a truth we all know but rarely face. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. The average life expectancy in the United States is now pushing past 80 years, thanks to breakthroughs in healthcare. But a longer life doesn't always mean a better one. In 2025, we're bombarded with information overload. The average American spends over 7 hours a day on screens, chasing likes, emails, and deadlines, while moments of true connection slip away. We tell ourselves we'll get to the important stuff later, calling a loved one, pursuing a dream, or simply sitting still to appreciate life. But what if later never comes? The Stoics understood this trap. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You live as if you were destined to live forever. No thought of your frailty ever enters your head." He wasn't scolding us. He was urging us to wake up. Life isn't a rehearsal. Every day is the main event. By practicing Memento Mori, the Stoics trained themselves to live each day as if it were their last, not out of fear, but out of gratitude. They asked themselves, if this were my final day, would I waste it on trivial things, or would I focus on what makes life worth living? This isn't just ancient wisdom, it's a lifeline for our modern world. In 2025, we're more connected than ever, yet loneliness is a growing epidemic. We have apps to track our steps, our sleep, our productivity. But how often do we track the moments that make us feel truly alive? The Stoics didn't have smartphones or social media, but they faced the same human struggles: distraction, procrastination, and the temptation to drift through life without purpose. Their solution was to confront the reality of death head-on, not to dwell on it, but to use it as a compass. Memento Mori reminds us that time is our most precious resource, and we must spend it wisely. So, what does it mean to practice Memento Mori in 2025? It's not about morbid thoughts or giving up on life's joys. It's about clarity. It's about asking yourself, am I living in alignment with my values? Am I spending my time on what matters most? In a world where algorithms dictate our attention and busyness is a badge of honor, Memento Mori cuts through the noise. It's a wake-up call to stop scrolling, start living, and embrace the fleeting beauty of each day. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the Stoic practice of Memento Mori. We'll explore how philosophers like Seneca used it to live with intention, and we'll share a powerful story of someone who transformed their life by embracing this practice. Most importantly, we'll give you practical tools to apply Memento Mori in your own life, so you can navigate the challenges of 2025 with purpose and peace. Because here's the truth, you don't need more time to live a meaningful life. You just need to make the most of the time you have. Let's begin by looking at how the Stoics turned the thought of death into a source of strength. Their secret wasn't to ignore mortality, but to embrace it, and in doing so, they discovered a way to live more fully in the present. Let's see how they did it, and how you can, too. The Stoics didn't shy away from death. They didn't see it as a distant, abstract concept to be ignored or feared. Instead, they embraced it as a constant companion, a teacher that shaped their every decision. This practice, known as Memento Mori, Latin for remember that you must die, was at the heart of their philosophy. It wasn't about dwelling on the end, but about using the reality of mortality to live more fully in the present. In a world like ours, where distractions pull us away from what matters, this ancient wisdom offers a powerful antidote. Let's dive into how the Stoics, particularly Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, used Memento Mori to find clarity and purpose, and how their insights can guide us in 2025. Memento Mori has its roots in ancient Rome, but its essence transcends time and culture. The phrase is said to have originated from a Roman tradition. When a victorious general paraded through the streets, a slave would stand behind him, whispering, "Memento Mori," to remind him that his glory was fleeting, that even he would one day die. This wasn't meant to deflate his ego, but to ground him in humility and perspective. The Stoics took this idea and wove it into their philosophy, turning it into a daily practice for living wisely. For the Stoics, Memento Mori was a reminder of life's impermanence. Seneca, the Roman philosopher and statesman, wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." This wasn't a call to despair, but a challenge to live intentionally. By keeping death in mind, the Stoics stripped away the trivial and focused on what truly matters: virtue, reason, and the legacy they left behind. In 2025, when we're bombarded with distractions, endless notifications, viral trends, and the pressure to keep up, Memento Mori cuts through the noise, urging us to focus on what's essential. Seneca, one of the most practical Stoic thinkers, gave us a powerful tool to embody Memento Mori. The last day, exercise. He encouraged his students to imagine each day as if it were their final one. This wasn't about pretending the world was ending, but about asking a simple, profound question. If today were my last, how would I live it? Seneca believed this practice sharpened our focus, helping us prioritize what aligns with our deepest values. In his letters to Lucilius, Seneca wrote, "You have been preoccupied while life hastens on. Meanwhile, death will arrive, and you have no choice in making yourself available for that." For Seneca, the last day exercise was a way to take stock of life daily. He urged us to reflect at the end of each day, asking, Did I live with purpose? Did I treat others with kindness? Did I waste time on things that don't matter? By imagining each day as our last, we're forced to confront our habits and choices. Would you spend hours scrolling through social media if you knew this was your final day? Would you hold on to grudges or let petty worries consume you? Seneca's exercise pushes us to let go of the trivial and embrace what makes life meaningful. In 2025, this practice is more relevant than ever. We live in an age of constant stimulation, where algorithms compete for our attention and busyness feels like a badge of honor. The last day exercise invites us to pause and realign. Imagine waking up tomorrow and asking yourself, if this were my final day, would I check my email first thing in the morning? Or would I call someone I love? Would I chase likes on social media? Or would I spend an hour working on a passion project? Seneca's wisdom reminds us that we don't need more time. We need to use the time we have with intention. Seneca wasn't alone in embracing Memento Mori. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, used the practice to stay grounded amid the pressures of ruling an empire. In his meditations, he wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." For Marcus, Memento Mori was a call to action. It reminded him to focus on what he could control: his thoughts, actions, and character, while letting go of what he couldn't, like fame, wealth, or the opinions of others. In 2025, when we're tempted to measure our worth by followers or likes, Marcus's words are a powerful reminder to focus on what's within our control, how we live each moment. Epictetus, another Stoic giant, took a practical approach to Memento Mori. He taught that death was a natural part of life, not something to fear. "I cannot escape death," he said, "but at least I can escape the fear of it." For Epictetus, Memento Mori was about freedom. By accepting our mortality, we free ourselves from the anxiety of trying to control the uncontrollable. In a world where we're constantly worried about the future career goals, financial security, or global uncertainties, Epictetus's insight helps us find peace by focusing on the present. The Stoics didn't practice Memento Mori to feel morbid or hopeless. They did it to feel alive. By confronting the reality of death, they stripped away the illusions that keep us from living fully. The belief that we have endless time, that we can postpone our dreams, or that small annoyances are worth our energy. In 2025, this practice is a lifeline. We're surrounded by tools that promise to make life easier: smartphones, apps, and algorithms, but they often pull us away from what matters. Memento Mori brings us back to the essentials: love, purpose, and the courage to live according to our values. Consider this. The average person in 2025 spends over 500 hours a year on digital devices, much of it on autopilot. That's time we'll never get back. The Stoics would ask, is this how you want to spend your finite days? Memento Mori challenges us to reclaim our time and attention. It's not about giving up technology or ambition, but about using them intentionally. When we live with the end in mind, we stop chasing fleeting pleasures and start building a life of meaning. The beauty of Memento Mori lies in its simplicity. You don't need wealth, status, or special skills to practice it, just a willingness to face reality. The Stoics showed us that by remembering our mortality, we can live with greater clarity, courage, and gratitude. In the next part of this journey, we'll meet someone who put this practice to the test. Their story, a deeply human tale of struggle and transformation, shows how Memento Mori can change a life in the modern world. But for now, Let's carry forward the Stoics' challenge. Live today as if it were your last, not out of fear, but out of love for the life you have. The Stoics taught us that memento mori, remembering our mortality, can be a powerful catalyst for change. It's one thing to understand this idea in theory, but what does it look like in practice? How does confronting the reality of death transform a life in the fast-paced, distraction-filled world of 2025? Let's meet Sarah, a woman whose story shows how memento mori can turn a life of autopilot into one of purpose and peace. Her journey isn't extraordinary because of grand achievements. It's extraordinary because it's human, relatable, and a reminder of what's possible when we choose to live with intention. In early 2025, Sarah was a 3-4-year-old marketing manager living in Chicago. On the surface, her life looked like a success story. She had a well-paying job, a sleek apartment, and a social media feed filled with curated moments, brunch with friends, gym selfies, and glimpses of her latest work projects. But beneath the polished exterior, Sarah felt empty. Her days were a blur of meetings, emails, and late-night scrolling on her phone. She spent hours chasing notifications, comparing herself to influencers, and stressing over deadlines that seemed urgent but left her unfulfilled. "I was always busy," she later reflected, "but I couldn't remember the last time I felt truly alive." Like many of us in 2025, Sarah was caught in the trap of modern life. The average American now spends over 500 hours a year on digital devices, and Sarah was no exception. Her phone was her constant companion, dictating her attention from the moment she woke up to the last minutes before bed. She told herself she was working toward a better future, a promotion, a bigger apartment, a life that would finally feel complete. But deep down, she sensed she was running on a treadmill, chasing goals that never quite satisfied her. She hadn't called her parents in weeks. Her closest friendships had faded into occasional texts, and her dreams of writing a novel had been buried under the weight of someday. Everything changed. One chilly February evening, Sarah was driving home from a long day at the office when she got a call from her sister. Their father, who had been battling a chronic illness, had taken a sudden turn for the worse. By the time Sarah reached the hospital, he was gone. The loss hit her like a tidal wave. She sat in the hospital room, surrounded by the sterile hum of machines, grappling with the reality that her father, her anchor, her confidant, was no longer there. In the days that followed, grief wasn't the only thing that consumed her. It was regret. She regretted the missed calls, the cancelled visits, the moments she'd traded for another hour at work or another scroll through her feed. "I kept thinking," she said, "if I'd known his time was so short, I would have done things differently." That regret became Sarah's turning point. In the midst of her grief, she stumbled across a quote from Seneca while browsing online. "You live as if you were destined to live forever. No thought of your frailty ever enters your head." The words struck her like lightning. She realized she'd been living as if time was infinite, as if she could always make up for lost moments later. But her father's death showed her the truth. Time is finite, and no one knows how much they have left. That realization led her to a book of Stoic philosophy, where she discovered memento mori and the practice of living each day as if it were her last. At first, Sarah was hesitant. The idea of thinking about death every day felt morbid, even unsettling. But as she read more about the Stoics, she began to understand their perspective. Memento mori wasn't about fear, it was about clarity. It was about using the reality of death to strip away the trivial and focus on what matters. Inspired by Seneca's last day exercise, Sarah decided to try it. Each morning, she asked herself, if today were my last day, what would I do? Who would I reach out to? What would I let go of? The first change was small but profound. Sarah started her mornings with a 5-minute journal, writing down 3 things she'd do if this were her final day. At first, her answers were simple. Call her mom, take a walk in the park, write a page of her novel. But over time, these reflections reshaped her priorities. She began to see how much of her life was spent on autopilot, chasing deadlines, worrying about what others thought, or numbing herself with endless scrolling. Memento Mori became her compass, guiding her toward choices that aligned with her values. One of the biggest shifts came in her relationships. Sarah realized she'd been neglecting the people who mattered most. She started calling her mom regularly, not just when she had time, but because she wanted to cherish every conversation. She reconnected with old friends, scheduling coffee dates and long phone calls instead of settling for likes and comments. These moments, once pushed aside for work or distractions, became the heart of her days. I stopped waiting for the perfect moment, she said. Memento Mori taught me that every moment is the perfect moment if you choose to make it so. As Sarah integrated Memento Mori into her life, she noticed a deeper change. She began to let go of things that didn't serve her. She stopped obsessing over her social media presence, unfollowing accounts that made her feel inadequate. She set boundaries at work, saying no to projects that drained her energy, and yes to those that sparked her creativity. Most importantly, she carved out time for her novel. Every evening, she wrote for an hour, not because she expected to publish a bestseller, but because writing brought her joy. For the first time in years, Sarah felt like she was living, not just existing. The transformation wasn't instant, and it wasn't easy. There were days when old habits crept back, when she reached for her phone out of boredom or let stress take over. But Memento Mori gave her a way to reset. Each time she felt herself slipping, she'd pause and ask, "Is this how I'd spend my last day?" That simple question became a powerful filter, helping her cut through the noise of 2025 and focus on what truly mattered. Sarah's story isn't just about her, it's about the impact of living with intention. Her renewed connection with her family inspired her mom to start painting again, a passion she'd abandoned years ago. Her friends noticed her calm, purposeful energy and began asking about her changes. Sarah shared the Stoic practice of Memento Mori, encouraging them to try the last day exercise. One friend, inspired by her example, quit a toxic job to pursue a career in teaching. Another started volunteering at a local shelter, finding meaning in giving back. Sarah's transformation rippled outward, showing how one person's commitment to living intentionally can inspire others. Sarah's story is a testament to the power of Memento Mori. In a world that pulls us in 1,000 directions, it's easy to lose sight of what matters. Sarah was like so many of us, busy, distracted, and chasing a version of success that left her empty. But by confronting the reality of her mortality, she found a new way to live. She didn't need to change the world or achieve fame. She simply needed to live each day with purpose, gratitude, and love. In 2025, we face the same challenges Sarah did. The pressure to keep up, the lure of distractions, the illusion that we have endless time. But Memento Mori reminds us that life is fragile, and that fragility is what makes it precious. Sarah's journey shows us that we don't need to wait for a crisis to wake up. We can start today, right now, by asking ourselves, if this were my last day, how would I live it? The answer to that question can change everything. In the next part, we'll explore how you can bring Memento Mori into your own life. We'll share practical tools and exercises inspired by the Stoics and Sarah's story, to help you live with intention in the modern world, because the truth is, you don't need more time, you just need to make the most of the time you have. The Stoics gave us Memento Mori, not as a philosophical curiosity, but as a practical tool, a way to live with clarity and purpose in a world full of distractions. In 2025, those distractions are more relentless than ever. Social media algorithms fight for our attention. Work demands blur the lines between day and night, and the pressure to keep up can leave us feeling disconnected from what truly matters. But Memento Mori, the practice of remembering our mortality, offers a way to cut through the noise. It's a call to live each day as if it were our last, not out of fear, but out of gratitude for the time we have. So, how do we apply this ancient wisdom in the modern world? Let's explore practical steps to bring Memento Mori into your daily life. Inspired by the Stoics and tailored for the challenges of 2025, Seneca's last day exercise is the cornerstone of Memento Mori. The idea is simple but transformative. Begin each day by imagining it's your last. This isn't about dwelling on death, but about using it as a lens to focus on what matters. In 2025, when our mornings are often hijacked by notifications and to-do lists, this practice can ground us in purpose. Here's how to do it. When you wake up, before reaching for your phone, take 5 minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, what would I do? Who would I reach out to? What would I let go of? Write down your answers in a journal or a note on your phone. Be specific. Instead of spend time with family, write, call my sister to tell her I love her, or have dinner with my parents. Instead of work on my goals, write 1 page of my novel or go for a run to feel alive. The goal is to identify actions that align with your deepest values, things that make your life meaningful in 2025. This exercise is a rebellion against autopilot. The average American checks their phone within 10 minutes of waking up, often diving into emails or social media before their day even begins. By starting with the last day exercise, you reclaim your morning. You set the tone for a day lived with intention, not reaction. Try this for a week, and you'll notice a shift. You'll start to see which habits serve you and which ones pull you away from the life you want. To make Memento Mori a habit, build it into your daily routine through a simple ritual. The Stoics were masters of discipline, and they knew that wisdom without action is meaningless. A ritual doesn't have to be complicated. It's about creating a consistent practice that keeps mortality in mind. One powerful ritual is a nightly reflection, inspired by Seneca's advice to balance life's books each day. Before bed, take 10 minutes to review your day. Ask yourself 3 questions. Did I live today as if it were my last? Did I focus on what matters most? What could I do better tomorrow? Write your answers in a journal to track your progress. This reflection helps you hold yourself accountable and reinforces the habit of living intentionally. Another ritual is to use a physical reminder of Memento Mori. The Stoics often kept objects like skulls or hourglasses to symbolize life's brevity. In 2025, you might choose something more practical. A small note on your desk that says, Memento Mori, a wallpaper on your phone with a Stoic quote, or even a piece of jewelry engraved with a reminder of mortality. These tangible cues can pull you back to the present when distractions threaten to take over. For example, every time you see your phone's lock screen with Marcus Aurelius's words, "You could leave life right now," let that determine what you do and say, and think you're prompted to refocus. In 2025, one of the biggest obstacles to living with purpose is technology. The average person spends over 7 hours a day on screens, much of it on autopilot. Social media, streaming platforms, and news feeds are designed to keep us hooked, pulling us away from meaningful moments. Memento Mori challenges us to take back control of our attention. Start by auditing your digital habits. Track how much time you spend on your phone or computer for a day, using apps like Screen Time or Digital Well-Being. Then, ask yourself, if this were my last day, would I spend it this way? Most of us would say no. Use this insight to set boundaries. For example, limit social media to 30 minutes a day. Turn off non-essential notifications, or designate tech-free hours in the evening. Replace mindless scrolling with activities that align with your last day priorities, reading a book, calling a friend, or working on a passion project. Another Stoic-inspired technique is to practice voluntary discomfort with technology. Epictetus taught that we grow by embracing challenges, not avoiding them. Try a digital fast once a week. Go a full day without non-essential screen time. Use that day to reconnect with yourself and others. Go for a walk. Write in your journal or have a face-to-face conversation. This practice not only frees up time, but also reminds you that life's richest moments happen offline. Memento Mori teaches us that life's true value lies in relationships and meaningful work, not in fleeting pleasures or external validation. In 2025, it's easy to prioritize likes, followers, or career milestones over the people and passions that matter most. The last day exercise can help you refocus. Make a list of the people who matter most to you: family, friends, mentors. Then, commit to connecting with at least one person each day. It could be a phone call, a handwritten note, or a coffee date. These small acts of connection build a life rich with meaning. As Seneca wrote, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short by wasting time." Don't wait for a special occasion to tell someone you care. Do it today. Similarly, align your work with your values. If your job feels misaligned with your purpose, ask, what can I do today to move closer to work that matters? It might mean starting a side project, learning a new skill, or having a candid conversation with your boss about your role. If you're already doing meaningful work, use Memento Mori to focus on doing it well. Treat each task as an opportunity to practice excellence, as Marcus Aurelius did when he reminded himself to approach even small duties with care. One of the most liberating aspects of Memento Mori is its power to help us let go. The Stoics taught that we can't control everything, only our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. In 2025, we're bombarded with things outside our control: social media drama, workplace politics, global uncertainties. Memento Mori reminds us to release what we can't change and focus on what we can. Practice letting go by identifying one thing each day that's draining your energy but doesn't align with your last day priorities. It could be a grudge, a worry about the future, or an obsession with others' opinions. Write it down and consciously choose to release it. For example, if you're upset about a coworker's comment, ask, would this matter if today were my last day? If the answer is no, let it go. This practice frees up mental space for what truly matters. Applying Memento Mori isn't about perfection, it's about progress. In 2025, we face unique challenges: the pressure to stay connected 247, the temptation to compare ourselves to curated lives online, the fear of missing out on the next big thing. But the Stoics remind us that we don't need to escape these challenges, we need to face them with clarity and courage. Memento Mori is a tool to do just that. Start small. Try the last day exercise for a week. Create a simple ritual. like a nightly reflection or a physical reminder. Set boundaries with technology, prioritize relationships, and let go of what doesn't serve you. Over time, these practices will transform how you live. You'll find yourself more present, more grateful, and more aligned with the life you want. In the final part of this journey, we'll bring it all together, reflecting on why Memento Mori matters and how it can guide us through the chaos of 2025. We'll leave you with a challenge to live each day with the wisdom of the Stoics, knowing that every moment is a chance to create a life of meaning. We've journeyed through the heart of Memento Mori, the Stoic practice of remembering our mortality to live with greater purpose, from the wisdom of ancient philosophers like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, to the transformative story of Sarah, who rediscovered meaning in the chaos of 2025, we've seen how this simple idea can change the way we live. In a world that bombards us with distractions, endless notifications, social media comparisons, and the relentless pace of modern life, Memento Mori is more than a philosophy. It's a lifeline, a compass that guides us back to what matters most. As we close this exploration, let's reflect on the power of Memento Mori, why it's so vital in 2025, and how you can start living with intention today. Because the truth is, you don't need more time to live a meaningful life. You just need to make every moment count. At its essence, Memento Mori is about clarity. It's about stripping away the illusions that keep us from living fully, the belief that we have endless time, that we can postpone our dreams, or that trivial worries are worth our energy. The Stoics didn't practice Memento Mori to feel morbid or defeated. They did it to feel alive. By keeping death in mind, they focused on what truly matters: virtue, relationships, and the legacy they leave behind. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." This is the heart of Memento Mori, a call to live each day as if it were your last, not out of fear, but out of gratitude for the time you have. In 2025, this message resonates deeply. We live in an era of unprecedented opportunity, but also unprecedented distraction. The average American spends over 500 hours a year on digital devices, often chasing fleeting pleasures or external validation. We're told that happiness lies in the next promotion, the next purchase, or the next viral post. But Memento Mori reminds us that true happiness comes from within, from living in alignment with our values, from cherishing the people we love, from doing work that matters. It's a reminder that life is fleeting, and that fleetingness is what makes it precious. The world of 2025 is a paradox. Advances in medicine have extended our lifespans, yet rates of anxiety, burnout, and loneliness are at historic highs. We're more connected than ever through technology, but we're also more disconnected from ourselves and each other. Social media platforms, with their endless streams of curated lives, make it easy to compare ourselves to others, to feel like we're falling behind. Work demands spill into every hour, blurring the boundaries between productivity and rest. In this chaos, it's easy to lose sight of what makes life meaningful. Memento Mori cuts through that chaos like a beacon. Think about it. If you knew today was your last day, would you care about getting more likes on your latest post? Would you stress over a coworker's comment or an overflowing inbox? Probably not. You'd likely focus on the people you love, the passions that light you up, the moments that make you feel alive. Memento Mori helps us live this way every day. It's not about ignoring the demands of modern life, but about navigating them with purpose. In a world that pulls us in 1,000 directions, Memento Mori is our guide, reminding us to stay true to ourselves. The beauty of Memento Mori lies in its simplicity. You don't need special skills, wealth, or status to practice it, just a willingness to face reality and act on it. So, here's a challenge. Try Memento Mori for 1 week. Commit to living each day as if it were your last. Using the Stoic tools we've explored, here's how to start. Morning reflection. Begin each day with Seneca's last day exercise. Take 5 minutes to ask, if today were my last, what would I do? Who would I reach out to? What would I let go of? Write down 3 specific actions, things like calling a friend, working on a passion project, or taking a walk to appreciate the world around you. Let these answers guide your day. Nightly review. Before bed, reflect on your day. Ask, did I live today with purpose? Did I focus on what matters? What could I do better tomorrow? Write your thoughts in a journal to track your progress and hold yourself accountable. Set boundaries with distractions. Identify one digital habit that's stealing your time, scrolling social media, checking emails obsessively, or binge-watching shows. Set a limit, like 30 minutes a day, and replace that time with something meaningful from your last day list. Connect with others. Reach out to someone you care about each day. It could be a phone call, a text, or a face-to-face conversation. Tell them what they mean to you. Don't wait for a special occasion. Make today the occasion. Let go of the trivial. Each day, identify one thing that's draining your energy but doesn't align with your values. A worry, a grudge, or a pointless task. Consciously choose to release it, freeing up space for what matters. This 1-week challenge isn't about perfection. It's about taking small, intentional steps toward a more meaningful life. You might stumble. Old habits die hard, especially in a world designed to distract us. But every time you return to Memento Mori, you'll find clarity. You'll start to see which parts of your life align with your values and which parts need to change. And as Sarah's story showed us, those small changes can ripple outward, transforming not just your life, but the lives of those around you. As we close, let's return to the words of Marcus Aurelius, whose wisdom echoes across centuries. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. These words aren't meant to scare you, they're meant to empower you. They remind us that every moment is a choice. In 2025, when the world tempts us to chase what's fleeting, likes, status, or the next big thing, Memento Mori calls us back to what endures: love, purpose, and the courage to live authentically. The Stoics didn't just think about Memento Mori, they lived it. They used it to navigate the challenges of their time, from political turmoil to personal loss. In 2025, we face our own challenges, but the solution remains the same. Live each day as if it were your last, not with recklessness, but with intention, not with fear, but with gratitude. Because when you live with the end in mind, you discover that life isn't about how much time you have, it's about how deeply you live the time you're given. So, take the challenge. Start tomorrow morning with the last day exercise. Reflect each night. Reach out to someone you love. Let go of what doesn't matter. And as you do, notice how your perspective shifts. Notice how the noise of 2025 fades, and the beauty of the present comes into focus. Memento Mori isn't just a Stoic practice, it's a gift. It's a reminder that life is short, but it's also enough, if you choose to make it so. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Now, go live today, like it's your last. Not because it might be, but because it's worth it.